Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is JoeYoursTruly. Back in that video, today we're actually going to be breaking down the changes coming into version 1.5.7, which is kind of like the balance patch, which is kind of interesting because usually we only have like balance patches every 3 weeks, kind of like in between the big patches with like new heroes or new content. But ever since they did the whole version, like the Wukong release and then like the version 1.4 release, we've been getting a lot of like hotfix balance patches because there were some heroes like the Grux, for example, was just like performing super strongly, and then they had to do like a hotfix balance patch to nerf him and some other heroes in the past. So this balance patch is a little bit on the lighter side as a result. Well, we just have so many like mini hotfix patches, so it's kind of like it's going to be less like crazy kind of thing, but it's still a good amount of changes that we're going to be going over. And one thing that we're gonna be doing that's kind of like I want to try it out is I do want to um have like chats over here because I just think it's fun. I think it's different to kind of have an opportunity for like people who watch my live stream regularly to have a chance to see themselves in the YouTube video. And I kind of figure since I'm always doing all my live streams on Fridays nowadays, and that's usually when we get patch notes, I kind of figure this is a great way for me to like do a kind of like fresh conversation on like changes with my live audience, and then the very next day you guys going to be seeing like the actual video breakdown go out. So they're just here to kind of like have ask questions or kind of have inputs on what I'm saying and all that good stuff. But without further ado, let's kind of jump straight into it. We got some really cool skins, like the one that you probably guys seen already. It's a new Crunch skin that is an epic tier skin, so no like crazy PvX change, but like his outfit change seems pretty dang sick. So I think that's a skin we're definitely going to be picking up ourselves. There's a new face skin. It's a more rare skin. So and there's one thing I need to not do, and that is to highlight stuff because it'll make this go away. So it's a little bit scuffed, but I want to see how it goes first. And then if people like that, then I'll probably get some add-on to make this a little bit cleaner right here. But yeah, no new face skin. Seems like a little bit different face model and all that, but nothing too crazy on that for the most part. What it's cool they're adding is like a new Victorious bundle, which is supposed to be like a bundle that's supposed to be funding towards like the new Predecessor competitive events. So like if you guys didn't know, Medicine are trying to ramp up like an actual esports scene, right? Because ever since they hire choice plays, right, they have like an actual way to run these like competitive tournaments. And so I guess it's kind of like a cool way to kind of fund that a little bit more, kind of have a prize for money. But also have a good excuse to have some cool skins like the Sing, Skitty, Rampage, Chimpy, and Still right there. And there's one thing that's actually pretty dang interesting that you don't really see every day is also like the new Skylar kind of like redesign, because a lot of people didn't like her original design. I was kind of like impartial. I didn't really have a strong opinion, but I guess a lot of people had strong opinions about it. And that's the point that decided they're gonna rework her whole visual design right from the get-go. And uh I mean, it looks a little bit cooler, I guess, a little bit more identity with the more kind of like I don't Nameki's not the right word, but it's kind of like that. It has a better theme right there, I guess you can say. Going from more alien tech to more like cyber tech and all that stuff. Um, Definitely on the fan servicey side still right there, because I think I wouldn't be surprised if Thunder Punch did this whole hero redesign, because if you guys didn't know, Thunder Punch came from like Paladins originally from like High Red Studios, and he's known for making very good tasteful skins. So he worked on like the Bellica, for example, worked on the new uh Deca Christmas skin, and those were very fan servicey to say the least. So it seems like Amitsu's are kind of going more and more for the more fan servicey side when it comes to some female designs, but honestly, like it works for a reason. I mean, look at Marvel Rivals and look at like the Emma Frost skins, right? So it works, and then if it can help out meta series find more financial success, then I'm all for it. I mean, it looks cool. I just want to see like the in-game model and then kind of see what happens with that. One thing that's also really kind of cool is that Wukong, I guess, is becoming a voice announcer for Predecessor, because if you guys read right here, like he's actually going to be talking to you in game. So it kind of seems like there's a way you can like, it's like a setting you can toggle. It sounds like in game where you can go from like the original voice announcer or to have Wukong actually talk to you. And It's gonna be quite interesting because a lot of people have been asking for like a voice announcer, but a lot of people have been asking more for like community member voice announcers. Like for example, a lot of people I know will ask for Wabi, like RGS Ace, like him to be a voice announcer because a lot of people like him a lot from Paragon. He's an iconic kind of guy, right? But to have like Wukong, like kind of a hero, be a voice announcer first, it's pretty interesting. We're gonna have to see how it goes though, because I do think that Wukong is kind of like TB, where they sort of have annoying voice lines or a very nasally annoying voice from time to time. So to have Wukong constantly talk to you in your ear the entire game, I have to wait and see how that voice actor does to deliver on that hero. Alright, so now we're gonna be going over to the hero changes. And first one is gonna be Aurora nerfs because Aurora is one of those offlaners and even junglers that are like doing really good right now. So it seems like they want to just increase the cooldown specifically so she doesn't get to spam her on B or E root too much in team fights. Also like having her have more downtime in trading patterns in offlane. Honestly, going from like a 12-second to 13-second and then like 6-second to 7-second, like a 1-second increase, not like a huge change, but it's something you can kind of feel. I would think that they want to nerf a little harder. They should change her damage numbers because it's mainly like what makes the world really annoying. It's like she's a hero that can be a full tank, but still do so much damage. I mean, that's why she's like really good right now. She's one of the few heroes that can actually run as a full tank and still have so much damage in CC that you just cannot ignore her. Because like Steel is like someone that you can go full tank and be really hard to kill, sure, but you don't necessarily have like the damage output to be as big of a threat as you would think in team fights. But Aurora literally does all that plus more. So I think like Aurora's still gonna be an insane hero. Like I think they should nerf her damage if they want to actually nerf her performance. But it kind of seems like Omega's doing a little bit like small changes here and there, like how they normally do. All right, so for counters, so the big thing about counters is that they're kind of like decreasing her like healing in lane. So you see right here that like her B base healing got decreased. It costs more. The cooldown's decreased, sure, but like if you combine this with her mana regen being decreased, she's not gonna be able to spam her like B as much in lane, right? Because that's what makes the counts like offlane really annoying, really strong. Is she heals so much more on B and she can just use it so often. But now it's like she's not gonna heal as much, and she won't have as much resources to do it as reliably. So if you want to like do the same counts on B spam in lane, you have to like build actual mana first item, or else you're gonna get ooms too fast. So be interested to see how that plays out. Although one thing that like I really wish they make a change to counters is to make a passive work on monster camps, because I think counters in kind of a unhealthy spot in the sense that like they call her a mid laner, a jungler, but in reality she's meta and off lane specifically, because she just cheats off matchups by healing a lot and doing a lot of damage. And like the only thing that's really holding back Count's jungler from being like an actual more reliable threat is the fact that her passive does not work on monster camps, and that means her clears can actually be pretty dang slow in that early game. And I like you can do some tweaking, making sure her passive doesn't clear camps too fast, sure, but I think in this meta where it's just like we have a lot of heroes like a Saris running around in jungle a lot, Wukong jungle. I think having a countless jungle being like a more viable option would be more healthy for the meta because it's more counterplay we can do with countless against those heroes. But it seems like for the time being there's nothing to off lane, but this in turn just means that her mid lane and jungle role that's already not like the best just got even worse, which I'm not a big fan of. I really wish they make the change to the passive work at monster camp so she's at least like an actual more viable hero jungle, so she has more flexibility and more interesting counter matchup stuff. Alright, Drongo. So Drongo is a hero that has been on the meta for quite a while, and I was fine with that honestly because Drongo for the longest time has been the more meta ADC, so it's finally nice to have a Drongo not winning every single game. But of course he was just doing a little bit too weak apparently, so they're trying to like give him some like love right there. So they increase his on-beat damage, decrease it too, so you get to use your RB more frequently and do more damage with it. They're buffing this ultimate by quite a lot. Like this is actually a massive buff, like going from 250 to 400 max range and increasing scaling by 50%. Like yeah, Drongo's might be pretty dang strong next patch. To be fair, the other ADCs are also strong, but like I kind of feel like that's what Drongo was lacking. He's like a kind of burst ADC that didn't really burst before, but now he can finally like do that now that his ultimate got buffed. So he can kind of more likely like burst down people really hard with his ultimate, especially play for like Vanquisher kind of item on him. Yeah, those changes are like looking really good on paper. Definitely have to wait and see and go from there. Gadget, I see someone saying that nothing Gadget like should actually a problem, which is like actually kind of criminal that they did nerf Gadget because like she's a good hero. Like I think she's a hero that can be like decently well most of the time, but she's the mage that works best as like an anti-dive kind of hero. Like when you guys were watching my tournament gameplay with like Wukong, with like leader and all of them. Like our leader captain was playing Gadget mid a lot because a lot of the heroes that people were playing on that side were dive heroes, and Gadget's very good at stopping that. Like think like Sarah's cage. Like Sarah's cage you, well, press Gadget ult and Sarah doesn't get play the game. So Gadget's a really strong hero in the right scenarios while being kind of just average outside of that. But for a reason they're just nerfing her, which is kind of strange, right? Like the slow decrease, I guess I sort of makes sense because zombie is annoying. Mana decrease is kind of weird because Gadget's a hero that should be more spammy with abilities because she needs mana to spam abilities to build up her stacks, right? But they're all, I guess, making the stacks increase by 1 for stacks in the game. No, wait, that's enough actually. Wait, I read that one because if you guys didn't know, like Gadget passive, like you gain 1 magical power per 5 stacks. And it seems like they're buffing it, they're nerfing it to 6 stacks. So like yeah, I don't know. They're doing Gadget really dirty for whatever reason. Like I don't know. I haven't seen Gadget as like a super strong hero, but like compared to some other heroes, like Grayson not getting nerfed for example, and he's omega busted. The fact that he didn't get touched at all, even though it's very clear that Grayson was like super mega busted. Meanwhile, Gadget, who's kind of like mid performance, maybe mid high, it's getting like nerfed. It's like why? Right? I feel like mages are sort of like the weekly role right now, and you're nerfing like a hero that's like overperforming. Like, I don't understand these changes. Like that's a classic meta moment where sometimes they just buff stuff that doesn't need buff, and then nerf stuff that doesn't need nerfing. How is this? So so it does too much damage. Okay, the nerfing Hauser, I guess for whatever reason, so the decreasing the mind damage on B. They decreasing the scaling on it too, and then the nerfing the total scaling on its ultimate. So like again, like Hauser is a solid hero, but he wasn't like he's not like overperforming like a Greystone is. I don't understand these two changes honestly. Like I feel like mages are like the weaker role at the moment. That's why you see a lot more melee mids like Quan mid or like Wukong mid. Some people playing Crunch mid. Like mages need some more love, but instead they're getting like hate by the dev team, which I don't understand why, but I guess that is. Like Iggy, let's see, pop up. So okay, so they're buffing the Q cooldown on his Q, always build damage increase. So they're buffing Iggy, which like I don't think mages are buffing Iggy. Because if you guys have been following patch notes for a while, you know that people the devs that balance this game hates Iggy for whatever reason, so they keep nerfing him even when he didn't need nerfs, and now they've actually gave him a buff when they're nerfing other mages. That's actually that is just comical at that point. That's actually kind of crazy right there. And yeah, no, like that's my biggest thing with the gadgets. Like she shoots through mana early game. Like her whole passive literally needs her to damage people with abilities to build the passive. But if you then nerf her mana, that she doesn't play with the I don't get it. Like the thing with like passives in this game is like you build a character around that, right? And the thing is like for gadgets, like for her to build stacks, you have to spam your abilities. So you have to have a larger mana pool to do that. But for them to nerf her mana pool that in turn is nerf her passive and also making her like a higher stack requirement to get. I don't understand. This is like such a criminal change on her that does not make sense at all. Like, I just want them to think for just 2 seconds of what they're doing to Gadget and be like, maybe that's not the right way to do it. Or maybe she doesn't even. I don't say. I'm kind of venting too much at this point. Anyways, AE changes XD. Collide. So they decrease in her health. Decrease in her health growth. So I guess she's gonna be more squishy. But yeah, like nerfs across the board. That's kind of criminal because I feel like Collide is a hard one-trick hero. So most of the time, it's like this is literally like a nerf for competitive play. And that's one thing that is sort of like I don't understand sometimes with balance changes that Masters do. Is like they sometimes do changes to buff enough certain heroes if they're like doing too strong or weak for casual players, but then they do other changes to heroes like Kalari, who's like a hard, like high rank kind of character or like a competitive scene only character, and then like nerf her. Like there's just inconsistency of them balancing heroes for like casual or for like rank, because like Kalari is just not a good hero for casual play, and then now she's even worse. And I guess she's gonna be more balanced for like competitive play, but at what cost, right? Has something to do with pick rates, maybe. I mean, like when I've been playing mid a lot, not when I'm playing mid, when I'm playing all these games with it, I don't really see Gadget Hauser being played like that much. I see a lot more Gideons if anything that when I'm playing. So like I see more Gideons, I see more Iggy's, I see Bellicas, but I don't see Hauser Gadget as much, like from personal experience. So maybe it's different for other people, but I really feel like Gadget Hauser will not that big of a deal in mid lane. I feel like the other heroes in mid like the Iggy or Gideon were like the more annoying ones to go against. Alright, Kiwa, so bats increase. I think this means basic attack timer, and I don't like how this is phrased because it's confusing, because I think the weird thing about this is you have to think of it backwards. So because let me see if it says right here. Because like it says basic attack timer increase. So you think like, oh, numbers going up is good, but in reality, I think there's like a nerf. It means that there's a higher cooldown between basic attacking, so they making those attacks slower. I think is what this means. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but I think that's what it means. I just don't like this phrase, because someone that's like a casual player looking at this is like, that what the heck does that means, right? So I wish they kind of, change that to make more sense. Total physical scaling decrease. So yeah, they just kind of know her, which she's like she's like the most popular ADC. That makes sense, right? And I still think she will still be the most popular ADC, because like she really did not got much changes, but they mentioned something about changing the items. So I guess we'll see the ADC items, what they're changing, how that affects keyword. Bellica, Bellica's sort of in a weird spot where they're trying to push for a mage build on Bellica, but her mage build is still weaker than her like on-hit ADC build, from what I can tell. Like people that play her mage build feels underwhelming. So even though her on-hit build attack speed is not as strong as it used to be, it just feels better and more consistent. So it feels like they're trying to tackle down, decreasing the attack speed, making the Void Drone easy to kill, and increasing the cooldown on B, which, okay, it only affects like the earlier levels. So like it literally max rank on B, which is most of the time you don't really feel it. So it just kind of feel like these changes are nothing but on Bellica. Because they're saying that all these big changes fight here, but then it's just like the actual changes is really not that much. So I don't know what they're on about that. Alright, Mon is very annoying right now. And the changes they're doing to Mon doesn't fix that, because what makes Mon really annoying right now is the fact that he heals a lot on his passive. Just slapping people with it. But they didn't change that at all. Instead of opting to decrease the bonus armor scaling from his Q, which I guess makes him more hard to kill, but like I feel like he heals a lot from his passive and does it so frequently. So and it buff his on beat to throw faster. So I feel like Mon is still gonna be an insane hero off lane, just for more utility tank playstyles, and like still insane support. Like I guess that has some biases on the original heroes, huh? Modok, so bats increase, so making his M attack slower, I think is what it means. Opposite secondary, 1 second decrease. I mean, I think that 1 second decrease on his movement speed is actually a pretty, it's a pretty like noticeable nerf. But I still think Modok is still gonna be pretty dang popular. Like they didn't really touch his wall numbers like for damage, so I think Modok's still gonna be pretty insane. Mirio increasing no health, that's kind of interesting, and increase the scaling, so they're actually buffing Mirio, which is pretty interesting because I think Mirio is one of the stronger and like enhancer support heroes, like same realm as like Mirio and Sinks, kind of like the healer shielders in this game. Like I actually feel like Mirio is like way better than Sinks most of the time because of the global ultimate and then you're able to shield multiple people. So if anything, Mirio should receive like a nerf in my opinion, but she got buffed instead, so I don't know. I guess so. Skylar, so Skylar is getting some nice buffs in the term of like a new hero design, and of course to go with that, you want to actually buff her base kit so people will actually play her. Which I mean, people were playing her quite a good amount, but compared to like the hero and Modok, there are times where she can kind of get outboxed or like doesn't really have that raw sustained damage to beat them. So I guess they're trying to up that up by giving her like a buff to a Q, so it does more damage, more scaling. They are nerfing the E because they're saying that her E is like the reason why she can kind of run down people level 2 with E and on B, but like I don't know if the devs actually play against or with Skylar, but if you guys play against Skylar level 1 and she has on B, she literally just holds down that ability and then she can just do half your health bar if you can't get away fast enough. So if like Rich to pull you in or Mon pull you in, then Skylar uses her on B and just kind of walk you down the lane. She does so much damage to on B, so I don't know. I kind of feel like the changes to like the E will help with making sure she doesn't run down people too hard. But I feel like her on B is kind of like where most of it, her high sustained damage is actually coming from, in my opinion, of course. And the fact that they increased the hitbox for whatever reason on B is like an interesting change because I feel like Skylar never have issues with hitting people with the on B, and they're making it even easier to do that. So if you think you have an issue before where people are just laser beam you down, well, she's gonna have an easier time doing that, and she has more physical power scaling, so it's just more damage. Easy to hit means you're gonna be taking a lot more damage, so it's like that's actually pretty crazy change right there. Sparrow, so Smart Shade to help her bring up so it sounds like they're buffing her. Increasing total physical scaling, 20-25%. Increasing stealth slow decrease. I mean, these are nice buffs, but I feel like the new Sparrow ultimate is honestly still way worse than her like her old ultimate, right? Like if they really want to push like her ultimate to be like a TB ultimate but more Kone Reeve, they need to increase the range because it kind of feels like if you're not playing for the range, you're playing for the raw damage, you're gonna be disappointed with the ultimate. So I guess it's gonna help out, but I kind of feel like this is not gonna really help with that much when like these other ADCs that are like quote unquote really strong got like mini like not even like a slap wrist, like a mini like small tap on the wrist. And then she's getting like a small mini tap on the wrist too on the buffs. Like I feel like it's not gonna change much, honestly. Alright, TB. Lunari 4.0 bonus physical scaling increase, so I'm actually fine with that because TB's basic attacks always been a little bit underwhelming. That's why you see a lot more cringe blast builds with using more abilities to do the damage. So I kind of like this change to make it more like on hit focus, but we have to wait and see if that's actually gonna do anything. Waves continue to be admitted in high skill lobbies. You don't say snowball, blast, blah blah blah, like waves. Improvements given to full weight. Like why do you keep I don't know why they are so obsessed with making support waves a thing. Like I think literally the only reason why they keep trying to make support waves a thing is because I feel like that's the only way they can justify bringing waves down much weaker and ADC mid roll because like hey, she could be played support too. Because racist is that problematic character of just being really strong high elo but weaker and like your average kind of lobby. So I kind of feel like their solution to solve that is to make him weaker in higher skill lobbies, but make his alternate world support more viable. Which, okay, I guess. I mean, I've seen some people play support ways ever since they did those changes before, but kind of feels like other heroes like a certain Morn or Mirio or Sings are a lot more insane and more reliable than the Waze. I feel like Waze is kind of like a nutty burger when it comes to support. It's kind of like a niche pick that can be fun, but I think in terms of actual relevancy, I think it's kind of not that great. So they're gonna decrease the mana regen, which is like, I think that hurts the support role a lot. No mana increase, okay. And then decreasing its max Q range, so okay. So all this paragraph was just small changes, got it. Wukong is like the one that I'm actually like very curious at how that's gonna play out. Because Wukong, I think he's one of the most insane heroes, but only in the hands of a good player. So I have some bias there, sure, because I love playing Wukong. I've been doing too much Wukong content, if anything. But a lot of people seem to think he's about average. He's not great. He's not weak. He's just kind of in the middle, which is fair because if you don't play him like in a diver assassin-y kind of character, then all he really does for your team is split push a lot, which a lot of heroes can also split push. It just Wukong does it a bit better than them. So, but people saying that he's sort of a men's hero. Well, guess what? He's getting nerfed because he's actually one of those heroes that like is actually really impressed with the first 3 levels in lane, and that's exactly like the nerf they're doing to Wukong my heroes and nerfing his level 1, level 3 power. So his jungle is not gonna really feel that much different, but his off lane early levels is definitely gonna feel some nerfs right there. So they decrease his base health, decrease physical armor, decrease his physical power scaling on his basic attacks. For his Q profile, that's kind of like the super fast jump in the air, increasing the cooldown, so it's kind of like 14 to 15-second increase across the board. High impact secondary, that's the ground slam, damage decrease, 10 base, 245, 230. They increased the E scaling though, so it kind of makes up for that, but increasing the cooldown. So a lot of the changes right here, like you're gonna see like some tweaks with like you see some damage base decrease, but some increase in scaling, increase in cooldown. So all of this is just geared to make him weaker in those like first 6 levels. So he has higher cooldowns early levels, and he has higher lower base damage. But then as the game goes on, those increased cooldowns won't feel as big of a deal, and the increased scaling that he has gotten on some of the abilities, it's gonna feel like he's gonna still do Wukong stuff mid to late game where he just one-shotting people. So I'm definitely gonna play him come like next Tuesday, because I play Wukong offline so much that I can probably immediately tell like how the nerfs feel those first few levels and see if we can still one on people or not. The fact that it has 9% scaling base attack is really stupid. Yeah, that's kind of like interesting. It's something because I think like most heroes will have like 80, 75%, and then some of the higher heroes will have 85, 90%, and then some heroes with 95, 100. I need to look at that again, but yeah, no, the fact that he has 9% basic attack scaling is actually pretty crazy now I think about it. That's kind of like the reason why he can just kill towers really fast early on, because he has more basic attack damage to do that. Not many people playing Wukong anymore. He's actually like banned like almost single game in Wayne, so it's like people not playing him because half of it is like he's just getting banned every game, but the other half is like the bad people that don't like playing Wukong because they're bad with him stop playing him, so that decreases his like pick rates. So this is exactly what I predicted was going to happen. That where he's getting picked every game, but now bad players are not going to pick him anymore, so he's going to drop down the pick rate pretty fast. But the people that are good with him are going to keep playing him, get better with him, and be impressive with him. And this is what the nerfs are doing. They're trying to make those impressive players not be as crazy on the Wukong as much anymore. Do you think they keep nerfing broken heroes above it? I'm gonna answer this question once we get through the rest of the heroes. Yin. So yeah, Yin definitely needs some love, right? So they're gonna increase like her Q damage and increase the scaling by 20%, which is actually pretty crazy. Windows secondary, increasing the max HP from 5 to 6% doesn't sound a lot, but it's max H health we're talking about, so it's actually pretty significant. And then increasing the RMB damage on her right here. Excuse me. These are pretty good changes because I feel like what Yin sort of lacked is like more damage on abilities. Cause I feel like she plays too heavily on her basic attacks, which I mean she's the ADC as kind of character she kind of needs to, but even someone like Ceres has some nice base damage numbers on her abilities, but Yin never quite had that, so it's kind of good to make it so that she's not as reliant on base attacks. From time to time she can finish people off with a Q or RMB. Plus, Yin is also kind of like interesting character where she's a lot stronger against heroes like Howitzer, Rampage, where she can deflect their abilities, but a lot weaker against heroes like Boris, Chimera, where she can't even do anything in terms of reflecting abilities. So getting away from that a little bit more and giving her more wall damage on those kind of abilities is going to help out a lot, I would feel. Ceres, this is actually really interesting changes. Well, I don't think he was buffed or nerfed. He just got a lot of adjustments to his jungle is getting nerfed, but his offering is about the same. What I mean by that is, they're decreasing his health growth, so it's gonna be squishier, but then they're also increasing his mana growth and decreasing his mana on his Q, which is actually huge because the AD cost Q is like disgustingly high in offlane, so a reduction to 60 is actually pretty huge. The decreasing the base attack scaling is on his basic attacks. Then it's on B damage is changing, so it's kind of like overall nerf right there. And then decreasing the damage on his ultimate from 425 to 400. So essentially these nerfs are just nerfing his jungle wall because he does a lot of damage and the whole like ganking and then doing his combos and whatnot. So it's fair. I think Ceres jungle is pretty dang strong. So I like the changes to him to like make him not as oppressive, give other junglers more breathing room. But I really like the changes to his mana economy because that's like his biggest issue in offlane. It's the fact that he doesn't have the mana to keep up with the competition offlane. So you just end up having to like have to build Mind Racer on him to make like to be able to like actually use your abilities in lane often because it's kind of like the whole like issue with like Shimmy or Countless. Well, if you're not doing enough like if you're not using your abilities actively in lane, you don't win lane, and if you don't build mana to like support that, then you're just gonna get oomphed like way too fast. So I kind of feel like for like Ceres is a really nice changes for offlane, makes him less reliant on building the mana items like Mind Racer, but it can still be pretty dang good on him. I might still want that honestly. But if you wanted to do AUG Mutilator on him, that's definitely a lot more viable because you don't have to suffer as much from the mana issues that you had before on him. You don't know why Ceres got nerfed? Like, he's actually really insane jungle. Like, he's like a hero that in rank is like one of the most popular heroes for jungle picks. You either like ban him or you pick him pretty much. Because he just offers just so much burst damage if you build him right, and then his cage is really impressive. So yeah, it's more like a rebalance to make his jungle role weaker, but make his offlane role a bit more consistent. Is the best way to say it. Sinks receiving the range of changes, pushing away from more passive health. So attack speed decrease, physical armor decrease, mana decrease, mana. Okay, there's nothing no general base stats, and then decrease damage, decrease duration, decrease mana, increase, decrease, increase. Wait, what is? These are all big nerfs to her. What are they doing to her? So more active aggressive playstyle is being done with shifts to overall damage. Ultimate results is that Jinx will have to rely more on pressuring opponents with bad medicine, with excessive use of infused risking or exhausting the mana supply faster. So essentially they're trying to like push Jinx to be more of a damage focused support by like making her E better. Okay, the reason why you see me being really confused is because they're saying they're trying to make her be more aggressive, but then they decrease her attack speed, they decrease her physical armor, they decrease her mana, and then they decrease her mana regen. So like her health, her attack speed, her mana efficiency all got nerfed. That if anything, that makes it hard to be aggressive because now you squish you and you don't get to spam abilities as much. Okay, they buff E by making it cost 5 mana less. Okay. They make her E do more 10%, like 10% more scaling. Okay. These are just nerfs, straight up. Like, so like they're trying to do what they did in the series, but they're doing adjustments. So like he got nerfs and buffs, so he kind of feels about the same. But then 6 is just straight up like nerfs across the board. Besides like 2 things on her ear. They want 6 to die more. That's honestly like that's probably the best way to describe the changes to the things. Like if you want things to be more aggressive and lane, then I think decreasing attack speed goes against that. Decreasing your mana goes against that, because if you want to be aggressive with things, you have to use your E more. But you can't use your E more if your base mana got decreased and your mana regen got decreased. Like all of these changes doesn't get like this doesn't offset the changes. So she's gonna be more mana hungry in lane. She's gonna heal less. I guess she does a little bit more damage on E, but like some of these changes just does not make sense. Like they try to break it down to give you a reason why they're doing it, but then if you actually read the numbers, it's kind of like, wait, you're not doing what you say you're gonna do. Like I actually really don't like these changes. I feel like Sync was in the good spots, like, and they decided just to nerf her. Like I don't understand that because I feel like Muriel was the best support a lot of times. Like EU loved Muriel a lot, and they just buff her, and then Sync is like, yeah, we're just gonna nerf. Yeah, I'm not. You guys can tell I really don't like it. I'm very puzzled about these changes. I don't understand them at all. Dude, I just buy things. Yeah, I mean her revive is really annoying to be fair, but like still, they said they're gonna do one thing on her, but then they did the opposite. That's my biggest issue with that. It's just like communication there, which just does not make sense, honestly. All right, so we're gonna go to the item. So I want to answer one question. Well. So I want to answer this guy's question. Well, do you think you need to keep nerfing broken heroes or buffing elves to be able to match them? So I think what administrators need to do is you either need to like nerf the broken heroes so they're more in line with the rest of the competition, or you just make everyone broken. Because even Robbie, the CEO himself, said that the best way to like they want to make every hero be broken. So like if you make every hero broken, then no hero feels like too oppressive, except that wasn't the case. Like there was clear OP heroes and clear very bad heroes. Like think of Terra. Like Terra actually not getting any buffs is so criminal. Like Terra is like not picked at all really, and her win rate is atrocious. Like I don't know what data they're looking at when they're doing some of the changes, but I kind of feel like it's very obvious that Terra needed some love, especially that her Q does less damage than her basic attacks. Yes, her Q does less damage to her basic attacks. That to me is just so something's very wrong with the damage scaling on Terra, if you get to that point. And the fact that Terra is like underperforming like crazy, and then like Greystone and Quanda are like performing like crazy, they got enough. I don't see the clear logic reasoning right here. So yeah, to answer the question, I feel like what the easiest way to do it is to just nerf the broken heroes, so they're more in line with the other heroes are just more average. And if the hero is like very underwhelming like a Terra, then you buff them so they're more middle of the pack. But they're just not doing that at all. So I feel like this is like a very frustrating bounce patch. Well, there's some good changes. Like I like the Terras a lot. Personally, I think Wukong changes were fair, but then you have some changes like the Skylar Beam having a bigger hitbox, Mirror getting buff for no reason, Grayson Claw not getting nerfed, Terror not getting buff. It's just like these changes, the heroes are just so like off the mark. It's kind of crazy. I'm hoping like the next bounce, like the actual next patch, which is gonna be like the newest hero, is gonna actually have a lot better changes or more changes, because at this rate it's going, it is like not looking too promising on how they're trying to balance like the current meta where we at right now. Show all deletions. You know, it's funny. The only reason why Terra could be playable still is because she's immune to CC. And there are times where, like, this whole Predecessor roster is so reliant on CC. So having a hero that's immune to CC will always make them strong. But only for that reason. If she doesn't have CC immunity, Terra will literally just be, like, in the dumpster, in the grave, just, like, forgotten about. That's the only saving grace about her right now. Aurora doesn't need fire blocks of prophecy at the past 7 jump. Yeah, like that's the thing is like Aurora again, you can build full tank Aurora because you have so much damage on your passive and base ability. So like you can let all the base damage do the work for you because you just have so many different sources, and build full tank just be someone that's so hard to kill with CC. Like some of the changes that need to be made are just not happening right now, and that's kind of like the frustration a lot of people are having too. Like I read like the Reddit thread on like the patch notes they posted, and a lot of people were like overall negative about the changes, and there's a good reason for that now that we fully break that down. But yeah, I don't want to get too off track, so I'm gonna go over the rest of the changes. So start with items, decreased health regen, decreased mana. So the living divine potion, I guess. Unfortunately, because divine potion is very good on a lot of healers, but I can see why. Obelisk, increased scaling. Obelisk is sort of a dead item still, in my opinion, so I guess that's still needed. Mirror dash speed decreased by 25%. I guess. I don't know how I feel about that. Increased movement speed. So a lot of like verbiage right here. I'm not gonna go over that. Cost increase, damage increase. So it's kind of like not nerf or buff. More damage, cool, but it costs more gold, so it's gonna take longer to get there. Dust level, movement speed increase. Okay, decreased cost, increase. So this Imperator got buffed, pretty good right there. Nuclear rounds increased 4 to 20. Wait, Havoc ability damage increased from 4 to 20 to 10 to 20. Okay, I see. So it's like a higher base number, I guess. So it's gonna be easier to build this early on, is what this is telling me. Okay, interesting. Multi-shot decrease, increase. So a lot like they're doing a lot of like changes. Well, like some of them are like nice buffs, like going 45, 55 tome is actually pretty good, but then you have an increased cost, 8% to 10%. So like they have all this verbiage, but like the actual changes are not like super significant. Like I think the biggest changes was the input and terminus, honestly. All the other stuff was just kind of like adjustments right now. Death Stalker increased and salvation. So it's kind of interesting. They're making the salvation more of an aggressive item, which I'm actually fine with because fighters usually want more physical power anyways. So having the shift going from more physical power and less health, I'm actually fine with that change. So it makes the item more aggressive focus. If you want like durability but still want to do damage. Tendon blade decrease because the other item's like really popular right now. Narcia that's actually a pretty like wait a sec. Narcia got a huge buff because Narcia was actually an item that I feel like pretty solid mages, like especially on counters. And then like the fact that it got decreased by like 150 gold is actually pretty crazy. That's actually really good change right there for mages. Movement speed increase, kind of like okay, 1% is pretty cool, I guess. 1% increase, pretty cool, I guess. Magical power increase, decrease in health. So trying to make this more like a mage item, like on Gideon, and less of like a Narbash item, for example, with having less raw HP stats. Frost Guard. I kind of like this change because what they're doing is adding 200 health to it, which like this is the item that used to only have physical magical armor. So it's kind of awkward to build because there's a lot of builds that needs HP like Fire Blossom, and you want to build Frost Guard to go with that, but like it doesn't have HP, so it's kind of like counterintuitive. So I like the change from removing the base health to give it HP, so it actually works better with the Sword Breaker, Fire Blossom, Overload builds. So that's actually a very good change for tanks right there. Decreasing the damage on Thorns, but increasing the scaling is kind of interesting. I'm not too sure how I feel about it. I think this is the nerf to like heroes that only build like one physical armor item, like Quan, but I guess a nice adjustment to like full tanks like Steel, Sevlok that builds a bunch of physical armor. Unbroken Will, cost decrease by 100, pretty good. Cost decrease, and then 50, 45, interesting stuff. I think 40 is actually pretty nice item, so the fact you can build faster is actually pretty cool. And there's some bug fixes, but I don't think there's any like crazy changes. I want to see if there's any like funny stuff they fixed right here, but yeah, no, that's seemed about it. So I literally said this is gonna be like probably a 30-minute video, but it ends up being a 45-minute video. So I have that curse of just like saying that, oh, we're gonna get this done in 30 minutes, but then it takes twice as long. Unfortunate, but I think we have some really nice discussion right there, especially since we got some nice comments where to go off of on the live streaming watchers right there. So I do actually really like having this because I think we were able to get some really nice discussion going based on the additional comments from you guys. Oh my goodness. Oh no. I, I was gonna give the heart to my chat, but I ended up screwing myself. No. Hold on, I can fix this real quick. Pop-up chat. So this is gonna be like the YouTube pop-up chat for now. But yeah, no, I think I can see why people are unhappy with the changes because I'm actually pretty unhappy too for the most part because there was just a lot of changes that really didn't make sense, right? They say they're gonna do one thing, but I'm doing it completely different with the actual numbers. So yeah, I can see why people are upset because I'm actually not the happiest too with the changes. But that's why it's good for me to do this breakdown to kind of explain why people are unhappy and why some of these changes are kind of just really weird right there. Not gonna lie, we need more skins. Like more skins are not bad, but I think more actual fixes, right? More bug fixes, more matchmaking fixes are definitely much more needed, in my opinion, of course. But yeah, I don't think there's any like too major to add on. I'm just trying to like catch up on chat real quick before I end it off right here. Anything major change I want for the next patch? So I think you're talking about the next patch. Well, for that next patch, like version 1.6, I'm hoping the balance patch is a lot better because this whole balance patch is probably some of the worst I've seen from the studios. Like a lot of the changes are either very minor changes or very one-sided flop changes that was not needed. Like a lot of people got criminalized, and then some people got buffs when they should not get buffs at all. So yeah, I just want to see better consistency, better like smaller decisions. Like I want someone to actually QA like the changes, like someone like make the balance changes, and some other dev to look through them. Like, hey Bob, are you sure about these changes you're doing to this hero? Like, I can see why that doesn't make sense. Because like some of the changes, you just literally look at it and then you could be like, why are you doing that? I kind of want them to do that better with them like actually look at the changes and be like, yeah, that change doesn't actually make as much sense. Let's not do that. Like, I feel like some of the changes they're doing it just to, I guess, spice content up. But like, I don't know. I just don't like this approach at all. I can play bad bug games if I'm dripped out, but I can't play bad game and have no swag. I mean, to each their own. Like, it's to each their own, I guess. Looking good, looking sexy, looking cool. That's pretty important too, I guess, to be fair. But like, there's only, I mean, you say that, but then Overprime really has the best skins, but the most buggy game, and we know what happened to Overprime. Let's be honest, right there. But anyways, I'm kind of ranting on too much. Don't want to make this too long for you guys, but that's gonna be it for today's video breakdown on the patch notes for version 1.5.7. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If not already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single video by yours truly. Definitely let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see more of this content, especially like having more like the live showers be on screen, because I definitely feel like this adds a little bit more fun content to some of the videos. So it feels like less of me talking to by myself to a room and doing more with the live audience that does interact with me, and we can have some of these like side conversations too to go along with this. Like definitely let me know if you guys enjoy that and all that good stuff, because I want to do more of this for like more future tier list videos and more like patch notes videos. I think this is a good like way to like spice up the content instead of just me be talking by myself to you guys right there. But yeah, appreciate you as well, Noble. But thank you guys so much for the love and support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.